to The Lee Michaels Show with Carol and your daily cast of characters, where we discuss the issues of the day, entertainment news, what's really going on in Washington, and the world. Why don't we just hear it from the horse's mouth himself?
We can't have someone in the Oval Office who doesn't understand the meaning of the word confidential or classified. I don't think it's safe to be briefed on national security because the word will get out. I know at some point they're going to be calling, they're going to want to brief me, but I'm not a talker about this stuff. This is like Watergate, only it's worse. Because here, our foreign enemies were in a position to hack our most sensitive national security secrets.
Of course, it turns out the Russians didn't need to hack Hillary's email server. They were able to hack Trump's mouth.
This is like Watergate, only it's worse.
The Lee Michaels Show on the Power of Voices Radio Network.
All right, kicking off another week on the Lee Michaels Show, coming to you live from the powerofvoices.com. Welcome to the show. What's up? How was your weekend? Did you survive? Well, if you hear me, you survived. So we're all on the same page. Welcome to the show. Carol is here today. Chris will not be here. He's out on assignment. Maybe Alpha will pop in and we can talk some politics. And you, 424-227-9461. 424-227-9461 is the call-in number. We would love to hear from you, whatever you want to talk about. And yes, I'm excited about being here. Had a good weekend. Ran around a lot, doing a little Uber and Lyft, meeting new people. I met one of the writers of one of the TV shows. I'm a complete idiot when it comes to TV. So he named a show, and they were up for an Emmy. They've won a couple already, and I, for the life of me, can't remember the name of the show. So I guess that's one sign of just getting butt old. So, I don't know. I gave him my card. He said he was going to contact me. So when he does that, then I'll hook him up. And maybe we'll have him on the show. But he was a real nice guy. I picked him up at the not the Beverly Center. What's the one down on La Cienega? What's the name of that mall, Carol?
La Cienega, Beverly Center.
Beverly Center, okay. I picked him up there and took him over to, I think, where they were doing a rehearsal or something for the Emmys. He bought a nice new suit. He had one of those suit packages, so he's dressed for the nines. That was exciting to meet someone like that. We talked a little bit about the entertainment business, and who else did I meet that was interesting? 4 or 5 drunks, but yeah, nothing outrageous. How was your weekend, Carol?
It was great. It was good.
Yeah. Would you do anything fun?
Not really.
No. Just kind of kicking it?
Yes.
Yeah. What's his name?
Well, I wasn't with anybody.
You didn't pick some straggler up on the beach or anything?
No, I've never picked up people.
No? Oh, you don't have no fun. You got to pick up a straggler or two every now and then. You know? Why not? Go have lunch with a stranger? No?
Nowadays, you don't know what you might pick up.
No, that's true.
There's a lot of hateful people out there.
A lot of truth to that. Absolutely. Got to be careful. What was that? I was talking to one of my passengers. Oh, it was a young lady I picked up yesterday from the airport. She worked at the airport, picked up right outside one of the parking lots. And she says she, gets off like at 2:00 in the morning, and they had changed her shift, so it was a daytime when I picked her up. And she was telling me how many of the Lyft and Uber drivers they won't take her ride. And I explained to her, I said, first of all, tell me what time you're doing this. And she says, usually around 2:00 in the morning. I said, okay. And where are you going? And went to the same destination I'm going to. I think it was in East L.A. area. My geographic, I don't know where everything is, but I think that's where I dropped her off. I said, okay, are you doing a Uber pool or Lyft line? And she says, yeah, because it's less expensive. I said, okay, let me explain to you. Where you're standing, the drivers can see your location. You're not in the airport. You're walking out of the airport, so it's a little less expensive for you. But the drivers know that you are probably an employee outside of the airport. And you're doing a cheap ride, and they probably have called you before, and they see your name come up, and they'll pass you.
Plus, it's East L.A.
Well, they don't know where she's going unless they've called her before, and they see her name. Let's say her name was Mona. I don't remember what it was. And so Mona, they know, goes to East L.A., and it's a Uber pool at 2 o'clock in the morning. They don't want that ride. I said, if you were doing a regular Uber X or a regular Lyft, they might take you. She said, well, I can't really afford that every night. I said, yeah, I know, but I'm just telling you that's what you're up against. And the drivers are like not even 2 blocks from where she is. And they don't want to come out of that staging area unless they're going to the airport, because they're looking for a long ride. So I don't really know what the solution is unless you do an Uber X or a regular Lyft. She says, oh, my God, that'll be like $22 every night. I can't afford to do that. I said, yeah, well, that's unfortunately what you're up against. You know, I said, what did you do before you were doing Uber and Lyft? She said, I was taking public transportation, but at that hour, I guess there's no buses or trains going in her direction. So that's a tough one. And a cab is not an answer because that would probably be double. So she's going to have to wake somebody up and say, hey, come get me. Damn it. Come get me now. So anyway, that's a little insight on the Uber Lyft thing and why some drivers won't pick you up. And they profile you. I said, how many times have you been called by the driver? She says, quite often. And then they find out where you want to go. They say, oh, no, I can't take that trip. So that's kind of crazy. But I don't do that. I'm the good guy. I'll take any ride. I had to turn one down. I was up in the valley, San Fernando Valley. I don't know exactly what little town I was in. But I got a call, and it was maybe 11 o'clock at night. And it was 29 minutes away from me. I went, 29 minutes? Who does that? Why would they give me a ride 29 minutes? I must be the only guy in the valley to get this ride. So I called a person, and it was a lady. I said, ma'am, I don't generally call people unless they're at the airport, but I'm just curious, how far of a ride are you going to take? She says, about 8 miles. I said, well, I'm 29 minutes away from you. Did you see that on your screen? She says, well, there was another one that was 21 minutes, and then I got your call. So I don't know what's going on. I said, well, what I would suggest is you cancel this ride and wait a few minutes and see if there's another driver a lot closer to you, because it doesn't make sense for me to drive 29 minutes to pick you up for an 8-mile ride. She says, okay, that makes sense. I understand. And she says, and this is my first time using Lyft. I don't know what I'm doing. I said, well, you're doing the right thing, but just pay attention to how far the driver is before you accept that ride. So that's another little tip to you folks in the rideshare world. Pay attention to how far away the driver is, and if you're in a hurry, don't take a ride that's 29 minutes. Just wait a couple minutes, and chances are there's somebody going to come into your radius a lot closer to you. And it was interesting, but that was a Lyft ride. And Lyft, I think for about an hour, was having a problem for me even logging into them. So I think maybe they were having a system issue and they had to reboot. And when it finally came back up, it was doing some crazy stuff. So be patient and understand that the driver has no idea where you're going when they accept your call until they pick you up. And they hit the little screen that says start trip. And that's when we know where the ride is going, unless they call you and then you tell them where you're going. Anyway, so much for the rideshare world. A lot of stuff going on in the news. Carol was telling me about some things that she had read over the weekend and today. And I did see a headline about Iran going toe-to-toe with our president over their new nuclear bomb. They call it the father of all bombs. We have the mother of all bombs. So maybe they ought to have sex and have the children of all bombs. I mean, what is it with these names? So Iran is saying they've got the biggest, the baddest, the most destructive bomb of all time. And if they do, Lord have mercy on the world, because here's another moron that has access to that kind of power. And God forbid if they team up with China, Russia, and the mental midget over in North Korea. That would be quite a bit of force to deal with, quite honestly. I would hope that human life would prevail, and all these bomb-making fools are doing it, positioning for power and leverage. Hopefully no intent of using these bombs. Because that would be the end of the world. It really would. If everybody started blasting off these nuclear bombs, it probably wouldn't take but 10 or 15 of them to wipe out the entire world. And then, you could be in Nome, Alaska or Antarctica, and you're going to get some fallout from that number of nuclear bombs. There's just no way to avoid having some kind of impact. The air around the world would be completely polluted with radiation. So why would anybody want to ever use that kind of destruction? Could you be that sick and demented? Do you hate living that much? Well, just kill yourself, but don't try to kill the world. Get it over with. I don't know. Sometimes we use our intelligence for negative things versus things that could help the world become a better place. Carol and I were talking before we came on the air, and we were talking about new discoveries in medicine and why the pharmaceutical industry would not want to embrace it, because these are cures versus just pacifying and keeping people barely alive so that you can continue to buy these $500,000, $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 medications that don't really fix anything. So that's what it's all about. It's all about the money. Keep you alive for as long as they can. Put you on these medications, keep you alive for another 5 or 10 years. Then you'll die, and then the next fool jumps on the same train. And on and on and on and on. So what's the solution? How do we get these people to understand that we want to live with healthy lives? Now the Senate is back on the bandwagon of trying to get 50 votes to pass a new health care, not necessarily new, it sounds like a modification to Obamacare. Damn it, why didn't y'all do that in the beginning? Why did you want to repeal and replace? Oh, my bad, I know. Because you're an egotistical maniac and you want to put your name on it. Well, you branded it Obamacare. Why didn't you just leave it alone as the Affordable Health Care Act? Then you can come in and make your modifications and make it a better bill or act. But no, you want to brand it negative so that you can eventually come up with what you should have done was come up with a better idea. Fix it. Now they're trying it again. If they fail this time, then November 6, 2018 ought to be the last we hear from all of them. And I hope John McCain and the two other people that didn't vote the last time in favor of passing this nonsense, I hope they do the same thing. Keep smacking it down until they get it right. Don't go along just to get along because of a partisan situation. Don't do that. If it's not in the best interest of the people that voted for you, don't do it. Let's welcome Alfo to the show. Alfo, how you doing, partner? And how was your weekend?
Uneventful, like I like them.
Okay.
Carol, how you feeling?
She walked away for a second, but she's doing good.
And the other Carol is not here either.
No. We've got a few absent people today on this Monday. But good to have you here.
That just leaves you to lob bombs at town.
That's right. That's it.
We're talking.
I'm all you got.
We're talking not a target-rich environment here.
Am I easy target? Is that what you're trying to say?
You're an easy target.
See, with friends like you, who needs enemies?
Exactly. You know, lady, this new health care deal that Lindsey Graham is putting forward is nothing more than warmed over BS.
Right. I agree with it.
It'll still kick millions of people off their health care. Mm-hmm. It'll still quarantine those with pre-existing conditions, and it'll cost them more. But now they've allowed it to die down, and I guarantee you it will get 50 votes. And
why do you think that? Why is this okay to those 3 people that didn't vote for it before?
The 3 people who didn't vote for it wanted something, and they have satisfied their needs. John McCain, he's no maverick. And I wish that people would understand when people tell you who they are, believe them.
Right.
Just like Angela said. John McCain is nothing more than a pandering demagogue. War hero in some people's eyes. That's the boys who spent time at Hanoi Hilton with him. He was a snitch. He was a singer, and that's how his fellow his fellow inmates described him.
Really?
But all of that
he was throwing up, huh?
Right, and I don't want to cast aspersions on a character that is already in question. And I'll say this: the level of pushback is so slight that now they can try it and they will get away with it because it is off the radar. Now they're worried about DACA. You see, the Hispanic people, they were kind of worried about the health care, because see, they really wasn't getting it. Now They care about DACA, and they want everybody else to care about DACA. And there is a lack of narrative from the Democrats and from progressives. And just let me put it like this. It's basic. It's simple. Republicans, they don't want us to complain about health care. They don't want everybody to have health care. They don't want us to complain about racism. It's too soon to talk about climate change. It's too soon to talk about gun deaths. It's too soon to talk about all of the things that would help American society and the middle class move on up. But they can talk about tax cuts relentlessly, persistently, and with a vengeance. And everybody's supposed to believe this is the same old George Bush cut corporate tax BS that only produced 3 million jobs in 8 years. And I find it pathetic that I haven't heard Democrats say that over and over and over and over and over and over again. You see, when you become accustomed to privilege, then equality seems like it's oppression. And that's what you're looking at. That's what you're experiencing. The people on the alt-right, the neo-Nazis, Donald Trump gives them voice and emboldens them to come out of the shadows with their racism, with their bigotry. Did you see that the cops were driving unmarked cars backwards in St. Louis up the crowded where the protesters were protesting?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, they got folks scampering to get out of their way because they were driving like they ain't got no F's to give. And to me...
Were they driving it into the crowd? I didn't see that.
No, they were, into the crowd backwards. So you can have plausible deniability. Oh, I didn't see him. Just like the cop that just got acquitted that brought about all of these protests.
Yeah.
He's on the mic saying, I'm going to kill this.
Yeah, mother.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he got amnesia. Well, I don't remember saying that. He came out with a public statement. And did they keep playing it for him? They should be playing that today. Yeah.
They should be playing that today. And all of the people who have sided with the police officers, the police unions, and all of the unions side with them, and most of the police officers side with them because of this thin blue line.
Now, some people are not sympathetic to the loss of this guy's life because he was a known heroin dealer.
I don't give a damn if he was shoveling shit with the birds on the curb. If you declare that you're going to kill this mother and you kill him, and then there's none of his DNA on the gun that was planted in his car, and the police officer's DNA was on it.
Right.
The judge,
How did he explain out of that? I mean, that's like clear as a bell what happened.
Lee, he didn't have to explain out of that. And let me tell you why. Because he took his constitutional right and went with a bench trial rather than a jury trial.
Absolutely.
So all you have to do is
get
a
judge, you're good.
In your pocket judge, which is about 80, 90% of them.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to walk regardless of what they say. And the federal government's not going to charge you?
Yep.
But you got Jeff Sessions in there. Of course not.
Now, the family did win a civil suit against the city, right? Somewhere I read something.
I would have to presume that they did, but look it up. I don't want to have any fake news going on coming out of me. But I'm going to tell you like this, Lee, and I said it 2 days before the Texas fiasco, where they shot and killed 5 Texas officers. Nothing's going to get serious until we shoot back or shoot first. And I don't advocate ambushing cops, innocent cops, because that's wrong.
I think I think a lot of the people that are out protesting in the streets in St. Louis are angry over the fact that this guy got off based on the evidence that was presented. I mean, it's clear.
Well, it's not just,
you got to get hit in the head with a sledgehammer for you not to understand what happened there. It's clear.
It's not so much about the evidence. It's about the presentation of the case by a ghost soldier from the Klan that calls himself a prosecutor, by the ghost soldier that sits on the bench in the black robe calls himself a judge. It's about the system that has been so infiltrated with the good old boy, with the ghosts. Yeah. That's what they call them, ghost soldiers of the Klan.
So nothing has changed. Back in the day, you were hung with the same kind of support because you were of like minds, right?
Right.
What you got,
and
Carol?
Back in the
Well, I feel sad. I think it's wrong what they did.
Mm-hmm.
But if he was a known heroin dealer and they never could really catch him.
Well, they caught him twice before.
Well, why didn't they kill him in jail where they wouldn't have got caught? Because how many people has he killed? I mean, it's totally wrong what happened, and I totally agree that the police should have got something for that, went to jail. But I mean, how many people has he killed with the heroin? Right now, heroin is so out of control.
Yeah. It's made
Every
a
day, kids are
comeback.
ODing. So, how many people has he killed? I'm just curious. I mean, we don't know that, but
No, we don't.
So it's a double-sided thing. I think the police should have got jail time for this because you can't just kill somebody. But he
Okay,
did,
so-
and it happens every day.
What is the decision of the court if you are convicted as a heroin dealer? What sentence do you get? Is that a
I don't know.
sentence
I
of death?
feel the way it is right now, I'm sure they should change the law because it's your number one drug. That and pain pills kids are
Understood.
taking.
But should the cops take it upon themselves in the
No,
streets
he
to shoot
shouldn't have.
somebody down?
They shouldn't have. I
And in
agree
v-
with that.
And in
But
view of the fact that it's recorded that he said, "I'm going to kill this motherfucker."
yeah, I agree with everybody. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, how many people has he killed with that heroin, and how many
Understood.
kids? If
They
he's
should
the
get him
main
off the
drug
streets.
dealer, how many people has he have kids out there dealing for him? Because that's what they do.
Of course.
So I mean, it's wrong, and the policeman should be in jail.
Listen, I'm
Because
not.
I watched an article yesterday where there's a white woman, an older woman with gray hair, and when the police are all lined up
Mm-hmm.
at this, whatever was going on, they knocked her down, and they were just stepping on her. The police.
Yeah.
They had
See,
the
that's out of
nerve.
control.
They had the nerve after to pick her up and handcuff this woman. She was older. She had gray hair, and handcuff her. She didn't really do nothing.
Yeah.
She was standing there.
It's probably somebody's mother, daughter,
She was out
Well,
sister.
there was a lot of white people out there.
Yeah.
A lot.
Right. Right.
But
she
did
was
you
out
see
there.
that? Did you see that, Elpa, where she was
Yeah.
standing there
Yeah,
and
and-
how they just stepped on her and kept going like it was okay? Came
well,
back, and people tried to help her up that were part of the protest. They came back, the police, and handcuffed this woman.
handcuffed her
How
and
did they
charged her
know
with
she
some,
wasn't hurt?
with some BS.
Yeah.
Charged her with some BS.
See, I didn't like
But-
that.
But see, Carol, this is what I'm saying, and this is my point.
Oh, I
Period.
agree. They were wrong to kill this guy.
They were wrong to kill this guy to raise what or how many people have died from the drug that he has sold is problematic because how many people have these cops killed and gotten away with it?
Well,
the
they're
same-
going to keep getting away with it because
And that's
Trump
part of the problem.
wants to make the law stronger now where cops can even do more than what they're already doing.
So, do we shoot back or shoot first?
How in the hell can you let a cop off when he plants a gun on the heroin? It wasn't in his car, right? Not on his body.
In his car.
In his car. It's got the cops' DNA, fingerprints, and everything on it, and nothing from the victim. How do you get away with that alone? That in itself should be enough to convict this guy of some wrongdoing. Maybe not for murder, but for planting a damn gun.
Well, for murder.
Something.
Because, but see, you see,
A
you see,
hangnail.
that's
Any damn thing.
That's what I mean when I say once you become accustomed to privilege, equality seems to be oppression.
Mm-hmm.
Because they expect favorable treatment.
Right.
Either we are a nation of laws or we're not. When you start killing people of color at random because you are mad, because your temper is blown up, when you have proof that the Klan has infiltrated our government at every level, police officers, firemen, judges, prosecutors, politicians, and this continues. At some point, just like the boy in Dallas or wherever part of Texas he was in, he was military trained.
Yeah, it was Dallas.
And he just had enough. He had enough. And when they talk about Muslims, how were they radicalized? Imagine a population full of people of color who have been radicalized, and that's where we're headed.
Well, you know,
Throw the alt-right out, because the alt-right, they will be armed to the teeth. But it's more of us than it is of them. They want to talk about Antifa and the violence. Antifa is new. The Klan, neo-Nazis, skinheads, they all
been around forever.
have a history, hundreds of years
Right.
of violence and terrorism. When does it stop? When do you say enough is enough?
Well, it's clear that the Klan is still alive. The racist people are still alive. They just took the hoods off, and now they're wearing three-piece suits. And they're wearing a different robe. It's not a white robe. It's now a black robe.
Aren't you guys scared today? Isn't that meeting where Trump's going to be with Iran? And
Yeah.
The UN?
Yeah.
he's not. It's frightening.
No, he's going to go out there and do his little dog and pony
He's
show.
a
gonna-
president.
But
He's
isn't
a-
he trying to get back into global warming now? Aren't we going back
No.
down?
No.
Oh, I thought
no,
we were.
he's
No.
not. He's
No,
going to
do
pull
shit.
out all. He's going to pull out. He's going to pull out like a 30-year-old with a teenager. Okay. And I'm going to tell you like this:
That's pretty graphic.
the rest of the
Damn.
rest of the world, they're going to ignore us, and this will lead to. Look at what's already happened, Carol, with the destruction and devastation down in Florida, in Houston. The power infrastructure has basically been devastated. Am I right?
Yeah.
Why isn't the topic, why isn't the narrative, this is a great opportunity, since we got to start from scratch anyway, Andy, why don't we just start throwing up solar panels and wind farms?
And putting the power lines underground as opposed to on the old-fashioned telephone poles.
Exactly. Well,
Down in
Right.
Florida, that's still a lot of the way power is delivered. I have a friend that lives in Boca Raton, which is a real upscale neighborhood. He has a condo on the 12th or 13th floor, right on the ocean, and his building did not get power until yesterday because there were 5 poles on his block that were blown down. Now, this is in an upscale, seriously upscale neighborhood, okay? But they still have the old technology of a bunch of old wooden tree poles out there holding up the
And-
power
and-
lines.
and Lee, I don't care how tall that building is,
Mm-hmm.
that roof will support enough solar panels
Oh, I'm sure.
to give power to that entire building.
Exactly.
And here's the other rub on that. Not only when the solar panels go on the roof,
Uh-huh.
you can fortify them and surround them so they can't be blown off by a
Right.
Cat 5 or a Cat 4.
Exactly.
So therefore, you won't have that power outage problem. But we meander on down the same road of failure. And
Exactly.
it's the fossil fuel industry. And I'll say this about what history sees and what history tells. The people who are climate deniers, the people who are standing in the way of renewable energy,
Mm-hmm.
those who have stood on the side of the racists and the bigots.
Mm-hmm.
They may not want to think they're racists or bigots, but they're racists and bigots.
Well,
It's like,
you know what, Alpha? I think they know they are. They just won't admit it. Because, it
Well-
would be uncool for someone who thinks the way they do to come out and say it. Unless they're one of those ones that don't mind wearing the robe. The hood, rather. So they're racist. I'm going to call it the way it is. If you believe in the same thoughts that Donald Trump does, then I'm going to call you a racist. Because what he's doing is very racist. Period. Plain and simple. If you voted for Donald Trump, you're a racist. Or stupid.
or both.
Or both. Uninformed.
How about
And-
stupid?
Well, yeah, that's one of them. Yeah. You're stupid.
And what happens, like we've already discussed, what happens when this investigation is complete? We've already seen
He's
his-
already
his-
screwed us up too much.
Yeah, but look at what we found out. Look at what we found out so far, and they're talking about another year, year and a half.
Yeah.
We've already found out the collusion.
We might not be here by then.
Yeah, some of us might not
Right.
be.
Well, I'm talking about the way he messes with people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, look at what you got. You've got the people in his satellite people, the people around him, cutting nuclear deals with the Russians in Saudi Arabia and Qatar. I mean, who does that without being labeled a traitor? If that was Obama, if that was Clinton, they'd be labeled traitors.
Yep. They'd be going
And that's
after
why
him.
when they say you must call radical Islamic terrorists what it is, you must call them what they are. They're traitors.
Yeah.
He is an illegitimate traitor, and the Supreme Court nominee, he should be impeached because he was. That's fruits of an ill-gotten gain. The Supreme Court nominee is fruits of illegality. Just it's like the RICO Act, and all of these executive orders he signed should be repealed, stripped, because he's fraudulently holding the office.
Yeah. Now, Alpha, we can sit here until we're blue in the face talking about the issues. How can we fix this? What is the answer to getting people engaged in thinking the right way?
You won't fix a damn thing unless you get money out of the politics. For you see, when you have the First Amendment and you have people writing who have co-opted the First Amendment and turned it into something nasty and something criminal, you can do all of the hand-wringing you want if they're able to disseminate a lie over the airways. The FCC hasn't done their job. Are those the people who license radio stations? And if they haven't done their job, and they haven't done their job since Ronald Reagan, if you can tell a lie, a bald-faced lie, like the people at Fox News do, and I came across another very interesting, I guess it's a cliche, if you will. And the cliche itself the picture has a big elephant, blue at the top and the bottom is red. It's got Fox News with the lights up, and it says, all propaganda must be popular and its intellectual level must be adjusted to the most limited intelligence among those it is addressed to.
That's
the
right.
author of that is Adolf Hitler.
And to break it down into plain English, tell a lie and break it down to the lowest common denominator and repeat it often until
Ad
people
nauseam.
believe it.
Exactly. And that's what you got, and that's what they do. And that's why you have so many people who are not just persuaded. They only need a small push because they are of like mind.
Right.
All of them people down there who stand there real stupid like and go, no, I don't like that Obamacare. Do you like the Affordable Care Act? Sure, I like the Affordable Care Act. Or keep your government hands off my Medicare. I mean,
Yeah. It's just
What
it's
is
just clear as a bell.
what is
that-
it going to take?
Exactly. Stupidity is alive and well, and it is what it is, as the old saying goes. Now, there are people who believe that going back to the police officer in St. Louis, and I have hundreds of friends and associates in the Gateway City.
Law enforcement.
I have a couple of people I know in law enforcement there, but I know a lot of just John Doe people, everyday people that live in that city. And most of them are very concerned about what's going on. If not most, all of them. You know, that it's a black eye on the gateway city. It's a real negative thing, just like the killings in the south and west side of Chicago. It's a negative on the city of Chicago. But here's the thing. What we all have to understand, and I think the people out in the streets that are protesting, first of all, do it peacefully. Continue to bring attention to the fact that this cop got away with murder. And you've got to make sure that everybody in the world understands what happened there. And maybe that's all you can do. You're not going to get a judge or a jury to change the outcome of that trial. It's done. But what you can do is educate other people about what to do and what not to do. Maybe that would keep other drug dealers from doing what this guy did, because that's essentially what got him in trouble. He was dealing drugs. Maybe what we have to get everybody in the world to understand is every life matters. Whether you're black, brown, white, blue, green, polka dot, every life matters. And I'm sick to my stomach and tired of hearing people trying to associate the Black Lives Matter movement with being terrorists. They want to put them in the same category as other terrorists. And I think that's just inaccurate. It's wrong.
Well, they better put the KKK in there, too. And the
Carol, how they going to put the KKK in a terrorist organization when they're policemen, politicians, it's risen to the highest. You know how long we've been begging for that?
A lot of professional people that are with Black Lives Matter.
Well, they are, but
you have a lot of professional people that are Klansmen.
But they
call them judges and policemen.
Right. The Republicans have branded Black Lives Matters as terrorist. Now, you know, and I know that there are people the people that started the whole movement were in the mindset of trying to bring attention to the fact that black lives do matter. Okay? Period. That was the message. Now, there are people who got out there on the bandwagon that were not officially a part of that movement that started throwing rocks and burning buildings and all that. That's not what that movement was all about. But it's easy for the media like Fox. It's easy for the alt-right to paint these guys into a category that they shouldn't be in. That was not the intent of that movement. It was trying to bring attention to the fact that, hey, listen, cops stop killing black people. Period. End. And then you got people who say, well, all lives matters, white lives matters, blue lives matters. But you're right. But you don't have to argue that point. Okay? They're trying to bring attention to the problem at hand of these cops killing innocent and sometimes criminal black people. But you don't have to kill them and arrest them. You can take them through the legal process. That's what we're fighting for. That's the message here. So I want to, bring it back to what that was all about. The people out there in St. Louis are trying to bring attention to the fact that the court failed. They let a criminal cop get away. At least that's the message that I'm hearing. Am I missing something? If I'm missing something, tell me.
All the time, though.
It does, and that's what people are upset about. Black people, brown people, yellow people, white people, everybody is upset about it. And it's happening to white people, too. There are thousands of videos on YouTube and other social media platforms where white people are getting jacked up by cops. Latinos, Asians, they're doing it to anybody. Why? Because they've got the power to do it and get away with it. They can go home and put their feet under the table and have a nice dinner after killing somebody. I say that's not human-like. You're an animal. I respect the men and women in blue. I respect them. I want them to respect me and everybody else too. Don't be the cop, the judge, and the jury. That's not your job. Your job as a public servant, make sure there's peace in the communities. And when you find somebody that's doing something wrong, you bring them to justice by arresting them properly. Don't beat them up in the process just because you think they are scumbag, low-life people. It's not your damn job. Protect yourself, yes. To kill somebody because you think they've got a gun and they have a cigarette lighter or a cell phone or a bag of potato chips, come on. If you're that damn frightened, you shouldn't be a cop. If you're that chicken shit and scared, you should not wear that badge. Snatch it off your chest, take off of that uniform, give up the gun, go find another job. It's not for you. Plain and simple. It's not hard. Walk away from it. And if you're one of the good cops and you don't like what you're seeing, do the right thing. I'm not suggesting you pack up and walk out, leave your job, but don't let these criminal cops get away with doing what they've been doing. And we understand, and I've talked to a number of cops, afraid to blow the whistle because one or two things will happen. They'll get a bullet in their back. They won't be promoted. They'll be downgraded, passed over for promotions, given bad reports, and eventually you get fired. So the corruption is inside our law enforcement world. And you gotta acknowledge the fact that it's from the top down, from the judges all the way down through the system. And that's why people are out in the streets. They're not stupid. They can see it. It's clear. Now, I'm not advocating any violence, not at all. I'm an anti-violence type person. But I'm just trying to get some clarity, explain to you why people are out protesting. They're sick and tired of being mistreated.
You know, there's so much going on, though, right now. Oh, you shut me off.
No.
Did you see first a guy that was out location hunting in Mexico? I think he was the head person. They found him dead for a TV show called Narco or something.
Yeah.
Now 4 young American college students were attacked at a French train station with acid thrown on them. So
why?
I don't. Some woman did it. They caught her.
Anti-American?
Yeah, right now it's not real safe for a lot of travel. I worry with my kids traveling overseas a lot because I've been to France many times, and I always pretend I'm from Canada. They've never liked us Americans, but I don't know who she was that did this to them, but it's happening a lot over there because they've been doing this to Muslims too, putting acid, throwing it on them. But it's just the guy too in Mexico, they've given us warnings there. There's just so much. I hate to even look at news going on in the world, like in San Diego right now. I don't know if you've seen this, but be careful if you're Uber driving there. They have a hepatitis breakout from the homeless.
Yeah, you mentioned that this morning.
And they're out bleaching the streets and that. I mean, you think it isn't going to happen here too?
Oh, it can go happen anywhere.
So,
it's contagious.
It's more than just this protest going on. There's so many things. I get where I don't even want to look at news because it depresses me.
It does. But you
know,
have
there's
to
got
filter
to be
it.
some great things happening.
You have to filter
you
that
can't,
stuff.
But you can't hide
No,
from
I
it
can't
either.
hide from it, but I also know there's good things happening. And
Of course.
sometimes we need to try to find those good things because it's just
And if
too
you get
much
tired
to
of
me.
it,
No,
yeah,
it's
if you
not.
get
It's
tired
not
of
that
it,
I'm
Carol.
tired of it. I have kids that travel overseas, and because they work. I have a son that's in the air right now, and I'm seeing where I thought Jose was gone, that hurricane. I thought it was gone. Didn't it leave?
He's still alive.
He's hitting Manhattan and Jersey Day, but not him, a tropical storm, which is pretty bad, too, because of the winds.
Right.
And I'm thinking about my son just leaving New York right now up on a plane. I don't know if he's ever been on these when you hit those storms.
Yeah, they're not going to let those planes off the ground if there's a
but he's up there.
Yeah, if he's in the air, he's fine.
I've been on a plane once. I told you, coming from San Francisco, and that plane wasn't going bouncing up and down. It was going side to side.
Yeah,
and I grabbed the person next to me, and I had Rain with me. She was a newborn baby, and I'm cussing the first. When I get off the plane, I have to wait to get her stroller from them to bring it out of cargo and bring it up to me. I watched the pilot walk up to one of the mechanics, because they're all coming, they come up from where you land, and he says to him, he goes, "You better really check this plane out." He said, "I didn't think we were going to make it." I thought,
right? I didn't say that on the PA system.
Yeah, because that's frightening.
Yeah, it is scary.
I think that's why to this day people beg me to come visit them. I go, I don't fly anymore. I had to fly for years, just working, going one plane after the other, and I don't want to fly anymore. I have this fear of flying now.
Your luck has run out, huh?
Yeah, I can't fly anymore. I'm thinking of taking that new train that goes all the way up the coast to Seattle just for fun, get a room for the night, and then come back.
Okay, Carol.
That'd be nice.
Listen to what you just said. You don't want to fly anymore.
I don't. I've been on planes that drop almost 10,000 feet. Watch people's arms get broke. I don't want to fly, but I have never really been on a train. I've been on Metro once or twice, so that sounds kind of fun to me.
But listen, wouldn't you feel better if there were speed trains, the kind that the people that the Republicans nixed in Jersey, Wisconsin, Florida? They nixed the one from California to Nevada.
No, I just want to get on this new train. It's $97 and take a couple of my kids with me.
How fast is...
I don't care how fast it goes. It's like sometimes you want to
Carol.
No, let me finish. Sometimes
you're missing the point.
No, I'm not missing a point. I'm giving you a point of what I like. It doesn't matter it's what I like. I would like to get on a train. It's like I used to like to get in the car and drive. It's like when Lee and me drive somewhere, I relax and enjoy that because I don't have to drive. So I would like to hop on that train and relax. I don't want to be on a plane. I just want to sit back. I don't care how long it takes. I just think it'd be nice to be on a train and going up the coast.
Well, this is how I process.
I mean, that's you process, but I was just telling you how I feel.
No, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong. Nobody's criticizing it. But
I was going to take Lee with.
No, I ain't getting on no damn train. It takes too damn long. I'm in a hurry. I want to get there and go. But here's how I look at it. And there's nothing wrong with taking a train. And maybe one day I'll do a coast-to-coast train ride when I got nothing else to do. But there are tens of thousands of air flights every day around the world. Tens of thousands. And rarely do we have any crashes. There are tens of thousands of train rides every day around the world. And only a few problems every now and then. But if someone wants to blow up a plane, or if there's going to be some turbulence, or bridge caves in over a river or lake or whatever, and the train crashes, as the old saying goes, shit happens. And you never know when it's going to happen. When it's your time, it's your time. I've learned not to fear those kind of things. I can get on a plane and go to sleep. I can stay awake and talk to a stranger sitting next to me. I don't worry about those things. Once upon a time, I was a little more nervous when I first started flying. But I've gotten over that. And as much as you've flown, you've probably flown more than me.
I flew.
You know?
I was on the road with clients. Anybody in the record business that goes on the road with they know what I'm saying. I mean,
of course.
When Michael was in the Middle East, There were days I had just got back to the United States and got a call and said he wants you back on the plane. Now I came back here to work, do more clients,
Right.
get back on a plane for 24 hours, work in the Middle East for a minute. Then come. I did that for years and years with clients, and sometimes, and I know a lot of people like me, I just grew tired of it. It's like a stewardess. Eventually, they don't want to fly anymore. They're tired now. So that's my opinion. I just don't want to fly anymore.
No, and that's, I think a lot of people have that same fear.
I don't go on cruise ships because that's a little boat in a big ocean to me. I have no desire to go. I'm comfortable now.
I've never been on a cruise
And I deserve
liner.
a vacation. I haven't had a vacation in years.
I think you need one.
I do.
Yeah, why don't you do it?
So I am going to do it. I've been thinking about it.
Where would you like to go?
It goes to Seattle.
Okay.
I love Seattle. I used to go there once
I've
a
only been
month
there
to work.
once.
Used to have to go up there every month to work, and I think it'd be fun to take a train, stay a couple days there, get an Airbnb, and then get back on the train and come back home.
Yeah. Well, do it.
You know, the
Why
coast
not?
is nice. I am going to do it. I've been thinking about it.
That'd be nice.
I wish it went into Utah,
You don't
but
have
I
a train
might be
going
able to
there?
catch a train from Seattle to Utah.
I would think so.
Yeah, because I have sisters there.
Yeah.
I just won't catch a plane. I had to catch one, about 4 weeks ago? A small private jet for a client, and I was okay. I just don't want to fly like I used to. I've turned jobs down because of this.
Yeah.
I'm tired now.
Well, maybe you should hook up a studio and have them come to you.
No, actually, I was telling you this morning, I'm getting ready to learn how to do grooming on animals because I already groom them.
Mm-hmm.
So I can get me a mobile thing and go groom animals. People ask me all the
that'd be
time to
cool.
groom their cats and that. And I thought, this might be something I would enjoy because I really like animals.
Yeah, it'd be perfect.
I
for
love
you.
animals.
Mm-hmm.
Probably more than I do people.
It's not hard to do.
Yeah.
You know, animals are very loving and forgiving, and you treat them with love. They're going to purr and, you know, rub up against you, and dogs will lick you. And
Well, I don't know. Lee has a dog.
that's not my dog.
And he's a little asshole. I
He's calming
I don't
down.
even go over there any
He's
longer.
calming down. He's cool.
I can't go over there because the one time he did it, and he scares me, and I'm not scared of animals. But this one, when your hair stands up on a dog and he's not smiling and he's bearing all those canine teeth and he's almost got his teeth in your crotch. And then they go in the house and I'm supposed to follow. Now listen to what Lee did. Lee and Josefa, we go in the house. They go in the house. They don't give a crap about me.
No,
now,
that's not true.
This dog is
The
mean.
dog was
No, wait.
contained.
Even Josefa agrees. No, he laid down by Josefa.
Well,
They
that's
couldn't
all-
understand. I was sitting outside. It was very hot. And then I was scared they were going to let him out in the porch. So I went out on the street and stood waiting on Lee. We were only supposed to be there for a few minutes, but he had to do something and got busy, and they all forgot me.
No,
Till the
we
next
did
door
not.
neighbor see me and said, "Why are you out in this heat?" I said, "Because I'm scared of that dog." But to me, being around animals, because of how that dog acts, I don't care whether he attacked Lee or not. He's did this to me numerous times, and he's not smiling. When they bare all teeth and hair standing, you better worry. And he knows I'm afraid of him now. So that doesn't help the matter. So
No, that's what it
you
is.
got to put the dog up. If he's doing that to people, grab him, put a choker collar on him, and let him know he's not going to do this. Otherwise, he is going to bite somebody. It won't be me, but he will bite someone. And when he does, that's a lawsuit.
I agree.
And he knows that dog is. I don't like the dog.
I don't-
I wish the big one that lives there, Jack. He's the size of a Great Dane, a shepherd now, mind you. He's the nicest dog. I love it that he beats the crap out of this dog. I love it.
Well, the dog is still a puppy. I don't think he's 6 months old yet. So
Yeah, but he's a mean puppy, and when
he's
they're
still-
already mean like that, you got to worry.
Yeah, he's calming down.
I mean, there's a baby that's in that house at times. Who's to say he ain't going to get jealous because he likes Josefa so much?
Well,
I mean,
that-
that dog loves Josefa.
yeah. Well, that's his master.
No, he just righteously, he worships her. I watch him, but
Well, dogs know who they
I don't like
they're
them.
owned
I like
by
the
or-
other dogs there. I love Angel and I love Jack and I love Little Jingles and Pickles died, God rest his soul. But I can't stand that dog.
I think you should go into dog grooming.
Yeah,
or
I
animal
won't groom him though. Yeah, because you can they put a muzzle on their mouth.
Yeah.
And they have like a harness thing inside those trucks. But
Yeah.
yeah, I would like to do that because I see too many animals.
So
that
you
aren't
want to do a
groomed.
mobile thing, huh?
Yeah, I want to do a mobile thing.
Okay. Well, that sounds like fun. You get you a truck and
Yeah.
get it all painted up and
Well,
look
I got to
cool and
find
stuff. What are you
out
gonna
what
call
those
it?
trucks run. Carol's Mobile.
Carol's Mobile. She's a piece of work, isn't she?
Well, I groom my cats every day.
Yeah.
My cats are probably the most
Well, you got
groomed
to call
cats
it.
around.
You got to call it something other than Carol's Mobile.
Carol's.
It doesn't tell you what it is.
Oh, it'll let them know.
that
There'll be
that might be a
shampoo
hooker
things and
service.
dogs.
You don't want to call it Carol's Mobile.
No, there'll be a dog and cat thing on there. People
Yeah.
will know.
How about this, Carol? Pimp your dog.
That might be a good one. It would draw. It would
Yeah.
draw attention.
Absolutely. I love that.
Definitely.
Pimp your animal.
Yeah.
You know,
pimp your-
animals like to be brushed, and
Yeah.
to me, when you have a pet,
Would you do horses?
I had to do that as a kid. We
Yeah.
had, you know, when we went to camp and that we had to groom
Carol ain't
horses.
getting close to no horse now.
I don't live in Montana any longer. If I did, I'd probably still be around horses and chickens and we didn't have pigs. We had rabbits,
No pig.
which is
pigs?
weird when you kill
You
a
didn't have
rabbit.
pigs?
We didn't have pigs, not in Montana.
Oh, I have a farm. A farm's not a
gotta
farm.
But
have
we didn't
pig.
have pigs in Montana, not where I lived.
Gotta have.
But
a
we
pig.
had rabbits, and when they would
least
kill the
one.
rabbit to eat them, you would skin them just like you were taking clothes off.
Right.
It would just come right off. Now I think about that and I want to cry that I used to do those things.
Then you can make a hat out of it.
Oh, I couldn't do nothing now. It's just me. It's like this morning I was walking and this big water bug or cockroach wasn't bothering anybody. He's just walking. And I hear the guy say to his wife,
Crunch.
why don't you step on him? And I turned around, looked at him. I go, why you got to step on him? Is he on you? And they said, oh, we're sorry. But I mean, who was he
Oh,
bothering?
you bug lover.
No, I don't like
Okay.
bugs, but if they're out in their own environment,
Wait a minute.
what
Wait,
was he
you-
doing to them?
You don't like bugs?
I don't like them in my house. I try to pick them up and take them out. I hate
You try
ants,
to
though.
pick them up,
That takes
I
too
hate
much
them
damn
up and
time.
take them out.
Pick
I
them
will
up.
if I can
Exter-
pick them up and get them out.
Wherever I exterminate them with extreme prejudice.
You just got her upset now. She's mad at me because
No,
I stepped
I'm
on a
not
bug
mad
one
at
time.
you. You have to do what you want to do. I was mad at Lee.
Exactly.
This bug wasn't bothering Lee, and he said,
There he
it's,
was.
it's a pincher. I said, but he's not bothering you. He's nowhere near you. And Lee stepped on him.
I sure did.
But why? He was
I saw
outside
it
in the ground.
Because
They get rid of things that we might not want. It's like we have feral cats where I live and they complain. I go, why are you complaining? He's eating the rats and the mice.
Mm-hmm.
Those rats can totally flatten their bodies because their skeleton will just cave in. They can come under a cracked door if that's what you want. So the best thing is let these feral cats have their life. Let them eat those rats.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that at all. Apollo, what's up? Wake up. Unmute yourself. Not undress, but unmute yourself. Oh, he must have walked away. Apollo chimed in here, but there you go. What's up, buddy?
It's the Lee Michaels Show.
What's up, buddy? How you doing?
What's going on with y'all over there?
We're just
how you
chopping
doing,
it
Apollo?
up.
Alfo, what's up, player?
Played my last hand.
Player. Sound like
you
Tom Joyner now. What's
Right.
up, player? Ain't nothing, player.
You know, it's one of your people's birthday today. I think it's John Austin.
Is today John's birthday?
I think it's him. Go look on Facebook.
Happy
I
birthday
said happy birthday
to
to him.
you.
But that's
What's up?
what he's doing today. He's watching your show.
Oh, well, thank you, John. John is always a loyal viewer, listener. Great guy, doing some great things. Part of a
Yeah,
nonprofit.
John Austin. It's his birthday.
Yeah, part of a nonprofit trying to kick off a campaign to raise some funds to help the victims of the various hurricanes that we've had. It looks like we're getting ready to have another
school thing too, didn't he? Wasn't he doing something with kids as well?
Yeah, that's a part of that same organization, and they're starting
kids and hurricanes.
Another arm now to help the people that have been victims of these horrific hurricanes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but it's coming. There's another one coming.
Maria.
Yeah,
Maria.
Hurricane Maria.
Well, I'm not going to worry about her because
story.
Trump's going to build
all these Mexican hurricanes attacking Trump's ass.
That's right. But he said he's going to put the wall up and keep them out. So
he's full of shit.
He ran Jose off. He's feeling victory because he ran Jose.
Irma. Jose followed Irma's ass. He said that bitch can suck all the water out of Charleston. I'm following her.
That's right. She was a bad girl.
Yeah, when he saw that suction power she had, he said, I'm do a loop-de-loop and holler.
Right? That's amazing. She pulled the water off the shores of the Bahamas.
Yeah, man.
That just shows you how powerful and wide that storm was. And they're
powerful and wide.
Yeah.
Like the weather girls.
Either that or somebody's awful angry with this world.
Yeah, well. That too.
It's called climate change.
Yeah.
That's what's awful.
We did it to ourselves.
Yeah.
And when you hear people denying it, those are the people who should go down in history as being responsible for all of this.
Yeah.
Every single last one of them. You know? Everybody can sit around and talk about what could have been, what should have been, just like I was trying to explain about Carol, you say you didn't like flying, but my point was the speed train will get you there not as fast, but they've denied this country moving forward. You know,
I didn't want to go fast, though. I said I was going to relax.
You didn't want to go. You didn't want to go fast. You can relax on the speed train.
I don't want to be on a speed. I want it to be on
just
a
regular
normal train. That's what I was saying.
Okay, just
otherwise,
just a regular train.
Yeah.
My point is simply this: we have fallen behind in technology of France, Japan, China, Germany, all of the industrialized countries who have speed trains, who make transportation quicker, especially for those non-flyers. And it's just, let's face it, it's just another way.
Yeah, but I think this train, it's not a big one. I think it's basically for people that want to do the coast route and
it's Amtrak.
Just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Amtrak.
Yeah.
Some call it Amtrak, but we call it the train.
The train. So how was your weekend, Alpha? I'm sorry, Apollo.
Well, you asked Alpha first. How was his weekend?
I thought I did.
Well, he asked me earlier.
Yeah.
I had to go to a wedding. My cousin got my cousin. She's my cousin too. It's my first cousin's daughter, so I guess she would be my second cousin.
Mm-hmm.
But she got married, and so I did the sound and all that, and I did the ceremony, and then we moved the stuff into the little place for the reception.
Nice.
And I got to see some cousins I haven't seen in a while, and it was in Mocksville, North Carolina. God almighty, it's the redneck capital of North Carolina, I think. I saw more Confederate flags flying.
No kidding?
I'm sitting in his backyard. He's got some acreage, too. He's got like 6 acres. And I hear, pow, pow, pow. I'm like, what the fuck is that? He's like, oh, that's an AR-14. I'm like, how the hell you know what it is by the sound of it? It just sounds like
got
a
5
gun
of
to me.
them.
He did. I'm like, well, he's like, mine fires fully automatic. I'm like, well, go show him who got the biggest dick then. Go get your shit and fire it.
Did he do
and
it?
He did. He went out and da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, damn. I'm like, how much that cost you? He's like, shit, that's about $30 worth of bullets right there.
Right.
Like, I could have bought two T-bones for that shit.
Right? What is?
But it was good. The wedding was beautiful and
nice.
Had a good time. Real good time.
Did you watch the Emmys last night?
Who, me?
Uh-huh.
No, I didn't catch them. I saw the highlights of them.
Did you see that with Spicer on the highlights?
Yeah, I did see that.
That was kind of funny.
Yeah, but are they giving him a pass? He was a participant in this man and his lies.
Well, they gave him a pass.
They gave him a pass.
Maybe he's going to come to the other side now.
He's came to the other side.
Well, I don't think he came to the other side. He knows.
I don't want him.
Exactly. Thank you, Lee. We don't need him. We don't want him.
I look at him as a whore out on the street. He was bought and paid for, so keep on, you know.
Well, what about Matilda? What you going to do when they fire Big Matilda? Whatever her name is. What's her name?
The governor's daughter.
Yeah, Huckabee Smith.
Yeah. Yeah, well, she's the same.
She's going to get a job with a right-wing think tank. Mm-hmm. You see, they catch and pick up their own. Spicer could easily, and he probably does have a job with a think tank, a lobbying group, whatever. He was always a gopher. He was a gopher at the White House when he was a guy dressed in the Easter Bunny suit during the Bush years.
Exactly.
So this is what they do. This is how they care. They take care of their own. And when they brought him out, did you see Melissa McCarthy was sitting in the crowd? And
yeah, because they introduced him when he was done. They called him Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah, they called him Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah,
and see,
funny.
He didn't have sense enough to understand that was one of the biggest slights he could have ever experienced.
I think it's great that he laughed it off.
Well, you had
to. He had no choice.
I didn't see anything wrong with it, to be honest.
I thought. What do you think about Jane? What do you think about Jane Fonda, Lily Tomlin,
they
and
look
Dolly
great.
Parton?
About
what they said about
that was
Trump.
great. That was great. That was great.
I have to go back and watch this. I missed all of that.
You didn't see that? I'll send you that clip, Lee. Hold on.
That was great.
I'll send you the clip that I'm going to forward it to you now.
And what about
email it to me. Don't
Baldwin? What about Alex Baldwin?
I'm going to send it to your. I'm going to put it on Messenger.
No. I can't play it.
I can't. You can't play it off Messenger.
Since we're talking about stuff, do you guys remember Slender Man?
You normally do.
Do you remember when those teens?
But it's easier to do it
that
email.
thing was coming through these kids called Slender Man. Okay, remember these two girls that he told him to stab this girl? Yeah. And they stabbed her probably about, 19 times?
Yeah.
And she got away.
At the Emmys they did that last night?
No, I was changing the subject for a minute.
Oh, okay.
It's always fun for me to do that to you guys.
Yeah.
Stink
do
bomb
you know
and
that
walk out.
little girl got off of it that stabbed her because she said her parents were going to a divorce, so it drove her to mental illness. Now, she's a little white girl. Mm-hmm. I'm just curious if she was a Native American or Afro-American. Latin would have been the same. I mean, that story was a trip when that little girl managed. They left her, I think, for dead, crawl away and get help.
Yep.
Those kids that got off.
Well, Apollo, it's like
good
this.
lawyer, huh?
When you're accustomed to privilege, equality seems to be oppression.
Right.
And that's it in a nutshell.
And I don't know, I shouldn't have said white. I should have just said, because not all white people are privileged.
Well, we're not saying all white people. You can't. Oh, God.
No, but most are.
You
would you have a recipe for peanut butter cookies?
That most are? No. I wouldn't.
I would.
Not the ones that live in trailers or don't have money, but
they're
the
not
ones way down south maybe, but not the ones here.
Those are not privileged people.
No.
But they think they are.
Not on my. I have a lot of white friends, and they don't think like that.
Yeah, well, the redneck poor white people that I've been in contact with look down their eyes at me and people like you, that's just a fact.
How are they when they get in your car? The white people, they look down on you.
Probably.
Oh.
They have not been vocal. I have not.
I can't imagine that in California, though. People here are more open.
But you
about
got
everything.
I was in Hawaii and I saw a guy with a Confederate flag on his car. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, but you got to remember, I drive all over. I go to parts of California that are not very democratic. You go into Republican zones.
Like Anaheim?
Yeah, Anaheim. Irvine.
Don't get no skinhead in your car.
Out in San Bernardino and places like that, you run into that. Out in the valley, you start to go further north, it becomes very rural. So the mindset is different. I treat them with respect when they get in my car, and I expect them to do the same. If they act up, I'll put the bitches out.
Well, Tanya said the Asian girls can be real nasty.
They can be a little snippy, no doubt.
Yeah, they can be nasty.
She said like
Anybody-
Asian girls?
like they
Yeah,
Yeah.
she said it's like they kind of snob you.
They do.
But
I
you know,
have
all
that
races,
before.
because she was driving last night and this young black teenager got in and she asked her could she drop her big brother off.
Mm-hmm.
Now, by right, aren't they supposed to pay for that other fare?
Well, they are paying for it if it takes them out of the way.
But they're
It-
not.
it's
You're
a-
not supposed to.
It's about the miles and the minutes.
So the
You're gonna
girl
get paid
says
one way
to
or the
my daughter, she said, "It stinks in here. Did you let gas, Bart?" And my daughter looked. No,
Let
I
gas
didn't.
fart.
I would have pulled over and said, "Bitch, get your ass out of my car. I don't need your $5 or $7."
And you know what?
Then they'd pull a razor out and slice your tires.
Oh, I
and
don't think
get
so.
nuts.
I,
But, you
I
know,
don't have
you-
that kind of daughter. You're going to pull a razor on her because when you do, you better hope you kill her.
But you know what?
I'm saying your tires, they'll pop
Yeah,
your
yeah.
tires.
You're gone by the time they pop your tires.
But listen, okay, that's
Even
neither here
Lee
nor
said
there.
he would put somebody out.
Let
Look
me.
at the guy here. The girl was drunk on her ass. This was the other night. And I don't know if it was here or where. But he goes to pick him up, and they bring her to the car, and they go, "Here's her keys. Take her into her apartment." He said, "No, I ain't driving her." And
I
he
don't
was
blame him.
smart.
Absolutely.
Because they would have, number one, possibly said he took her in and raped her or something.
Or if she's fallen down and bumped her head and killed herself.
Yeah.
You know, no, you don't want that liability. But you know, you got to be careful out there doing it, and it's about keeping a level head. You know, keeping a level head and stay focused on what you're there to do.
Well, that's what Tanya, she just ignored it.
Right.
She told the girl, "No, my car don't stink."
But you know what? They're
and
passengers
the teenagers are mean.
They're passengers that make complaints against you as a driver, and what they do, the reason they do that is many times, especially Uber, will give them a free freaking ride.
Oh.
Okay?
But don't you grade them too?
Yes, we're forced to grade that passenger, but the passenger is not forced to grade
the
driver.
passenger don't suffer any consequences for a bad grade.
Right.
The drivers.
Well, sometimes they take them off where they can't use them.
Yeah, you get enough bad reports, and then they'll
It's where they won't
deactivate
be
your
able to
account.
you have
Yes,
to
Uber.
accumulate a few.
Right.
You're
And
going to get some people complain that you just got some people
Oh,
you can't
I
please.
get it in my work. I get it horrible sometimes.
I got a complaint recently last week, I think it was, and they said that I was a poor navigator and that I was not paying attention to the road. Does that sound like me?
No, you better. First of all, I own the yacht, so I know how to navigate.
Should I tell the
And
truth
second
or
of
should
all,
I lie?
I got a GPS, so I know
No,
where
this
I'm
is
going.
what
Well,
Lee. This is
how you
what.
get-
Wait a minute.
Wait,
Yeah,
wait,
I'll
wait,
see
wait.
a question.
Go ahead.
This is what Lee says. I go, we're driving on the freeway. I said, we're swerving into the other lane because Lee's looking on his phone.
No,
He
I'm
said,
not.
"Oh, don't worry. It's got this special thing on it that it lights up and lets me know it's." But you're not looking at this. He's a good driver. He does
No.
pay attention, and I can honestly say, whoever said that, they were a jerk.
Absolutely.
He's one of the best drivers.
And then what happens is they'll say, "Well, we're sorry that you had that bad experience, and we'll notify the driver, and hopefully they'll pay more attention to the road, and blah 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 blah."
Well, you shouldn't be texting and driving.
Why don't
No.
I don't do that? I
He's
don't do that.
looking at his thing to put a map or something, and I just tell him, "You can't do that. Let me do it."
No, but wow, you're not on the meter. You know, you're not a Uber passenger.
You just bet his car does have a light.
you
that
pro bono
warns him you're
work
going in
for
the
Lee.
other lane.
Yeah, you're just a friend riding in the car.
That friend's paying him $400 sometimes, so that's not just a friend, is it, you guys?
That's TMI. You don't need to do all
Well, then you be quiet.
You got what I need.
that.
He don't even offer
And
me
you
dinner
say
out
you're
there.
just a friend.
They got to work.
Oh, baby, you.
That's funny. Well, you
No,
know,
he's not. He's very good about
Yeah,
with his
because-
driving. He's very safe.
because I want to live I'm gonna be selfish about it.
No,
I'm gonna
there's
make sure
some
I get
people
there.
I won't drive with, and
There's a lot of bad
he
drivers.
knows who it is.
There are a lot of bad.
You know, Don Cody's fun about riding with certain people too. Don gets all. You gotta give Don some Xanax to get him in the car with you.
Really? Is that uptight?
Yeah, he's like, oh man, Paulo, shit, oh god, I'm like, Don, calm the. And then I almost run a red light fucking with him because he's concerned about my. I'm like, damn, let's see, you got me messed up over here.
Right. I didn't
Yeah,
know
just
Don
calm
was-
down.
I didn't know
He
Don
like
was,
Mr. T getting him on an airplane. You got to give him a tranquilizer to drive him from the airport to the hotel.
Yeah, right. You know who? Another famous person that doesn't fly, Aretha Franklin.
I didn't know that.
She will not get on a plane.
That's probably because her ass was too big to sit in the seat there for a while.
No, there's other people. I'm trying to think who.
No, but when she was
She didn't
a
want to
little-
pay for 2 seats. That's what that was about.
No, when she was a skinny girl,
She wasn't that way when she was
No,
young.
there's
Yeah, she
people
was.
they just don't like
She's
to
always
fly.
been that way.
I had a client that wouldn't get on the freeway.
Yeah.
and
It's
she was a
statistically the
judge.
safest form of travel, you know.
But sometimes you just don't want to fly anymore, and that's me.
Well, that's through life
Well,
experiences.
Trump don't
yeah.
feel that damn way because he's burning up that jet fuel.
Oh boy, they should be charging him for the nonsense.
They
And
got
what
a
about
pretty
the
amount of
Treasury
budget.
Secretary just flying around? I'm going to try to fly to Fort Knox and rub my nuts on the gold. What was that about?
I don't know.
Said it
don't
was
know.
a business trip.
Signifying. I've never been to Fort.
Signifying. Well, that's some Petey Green shit right there.
Right. Gee, I've
What
never
you know
been to
about
Fort Knox.
signifying?
That's
What
some
you know
old-
about some signifying?
That's some old folk stuff.
That's that old school shit right there.
That's right. They just
Player,
wanted to
player.
go. They just wanted to go to Fort Knox. And how many people have been to Fort Knox?
Right.
And
That his
they're in a-
girlfriend, she bragging about her name brand clothes, Louis Vuitton bag, Versace drawers.
What's that got to do with Fort Knox?
I mean, that's what she posted on Facebook.
Oh,
As she was getting off the government-paid plane, she was bragging about her. You didn't hear about that?
no.
And then people were like, I'm glad you're wasting our money flying around and bragging about it. And then she was like, oh, isn't that cute? I spend more in taxes than you make all year. And then she got even more condescending and highfalutin.
Damn. That's some arrogant stupidity.
Mm-hmm.
No, to wow. See, that's that empowerment and mindset that, I am better than you and I can say whatever I want to say.
They are better. They think they're better than us.
That's my point. And then they can get away with it.
How dare you question me what I do with your money?
Mm-hmm.
Just sit there and be a happy little peasant and don't question me, please.
That's right. That's the dog whistle.
I have spoken.
Is Elpo still on?
Yeah, he's still there.
Elvis,
Elpo.
Oh.
Do you guys eat avocados?
we're going to win. this
Some burn my mouth. I don't know
What kind of
it is.
avocado is that?
I
You
don't
need
know. There's
penicillin for
different
that.
types.
They've gone up in pricing.
What do you eat? You eat them like an apple?
I usually get
No,
them. One
you
of my
can.
friends grows them.
You can eat them that way.
They're not that great for you.
They're high in fat content, from what I understand. But I think that's a different kind of fat than eating a pork chop or big fat steak with a lot
you
of
don't eat
grease
pork,
on it.
You don't eat pork chops, huh?
I will from time to time, but not often. Now that you
Pork
mention it, I think
chops.
I want one. Nice
well, I go
lean
away
pork
and come
chop.
back and you're right in my ballpark.
Why do
Talking
they
pork chops.
call it leg of lamb? I heard somebody talking about
Because
that
it's
the
the
other
lamb's
day.
leg.
Why don't we call it leg of chicken and ass of cow? And why don't we just say leg lamb? Let me get some leg lamb and leg of lamb.
I've never ate lamb.
Because it sounds
leg
better.
of chicken, thigh of chicken.
You could
No,
say
they call
that, and
chicken
people would know
thighs,
what
Apollo.
what you meant.
I know, but I'm saying leg of lamb. I mean,
And
it's
it's
so
not-
formal.
And
Yeah.
but see, the chicken leg and they're not for the well-to-do.
Oh, so
Therefore,
only the well-to-do can have leg of lamb.
They can.
Yeah.
Only the well-to-do can speak in such a pious manner.
Exactly.
I got you.
It's probably a little bit
Well,
of
then I don't know why my ghetto ass friends like leg of lamb.
Leg of lamb.
It's not what you
With
like,
some-
it's how they call it. It's,
With
you
some
know,
No, they do
Perrier
the
and
same
some
thing.
Grey Poupon.
Come over, I'm cooking leg of lamb. With
Bourgeois.
so
Well,
it
they
just,
don't call it,
I
that's what
just
they-
don't eat lamb.
That's what we call it. We call it leg of lamb. And you're right.
Let
I
me
don't
have
eat
some ass of
I've eaten
pig.
it.
He would make me not want to eat none of that.
Chitlins, that's what we should start calling it. You have the ass of pig, please.
Well, that's not the ass.
With a
it's
side
guts.
of Grey Poupon.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what's on the chitlins because they're on the
Yeah,
isn't chitlins the
it's in
The
the
intestine?
ass
intestines.
of pig.
Yeah.
Let me have the ass of hog.
That's why I don't. Isn't that why they clean them so good?
Oh, you better.
So
That's
you're
why
not
they
eating a
clean
lot
them
of
so
boo-boo.
good.
Otherwise,
So-
you'll be eating.
My
the
uncle
ass.
used to put them in the washing machine and run them through
Oh,
one time.
no, really?
They don't mean they clean. That
No,
don't
then he
mean they
boiled.
clean.
Then he would boil them,
Oh, you
and
better.
then he would rinse them, and then he would fry them.
Oh,
Yeah.
I could never eat those.
Oh, yeah. I did.
No,
I ain't gonna lie.
hey, you know what? That's slave food, and we got to quit celebrating that shit. We got to quit eating chitlins
Well, you
and
tell-
hog
you
jowl
tell some of these
and
people they're
souse
gonna
meat
take that from
and
them.
pig's feet. That's the shit the slave
But
master
there's
threw
people
out the
that
kitchen
love
door.
That. There's people that love.
Well, I mean, but we
chitlins.
got to stop that. We got to stop celebrating
Well, you
that
tell them
slave
to stop
shit.
it.
Stop it. Black folks, stop eating slave food.
But
Now, tell
there's a
them
lot
to
of
quit
white
going to
folks that
church.
eat it too now.
Now
Yeah.
tell them
And
to
quit
going to church.
quit going to church and giving up that 10%. That's just financial
And I mean,
slavery
the
based on
Chinese,
fear.
They eat duck feet and chicken feet.
Duck vaginas. They eat duck vaginas.
And
Well,
dog.
you probably
No.
have too.
I'd starve. to
I've
death.
eaten some vaginas.
Well, I
None
don't
on
care
a
what-
duck though.
I don't care what her
Stop it.
name was, Apollo.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever got into a real deep thought session and think why things are named what they are? I mean, like
Oh,
you just did the
absolutely.
leg of lamb.
We
Like,
just did that.
well, I know, but I mean, but let's
I
take
know, Lee. We're
let's take it a step further. Why is water named water?
Why is the Bible that people follow it when God didn't write it, man did?
Yeah, well, that's
But
true.
I was explaining that to somebody. I go, you go to school and you do math. I go, so was math just found on the streets or something, or did it just fly down here?
No, some maniac came
So
up
it's
with
like
it.
everything. It comes up with a name. That is where the water.
Yeah. Why is, a flower named a flower?
Well, it's
Why
something-
well,
not?
you know why your salary is called a salary?
I've heard this before. What is it?
Because during Roman times, salt was a hard commodity. It wasn't
Right.
easy to get. I
Right.
mean, it didn't. And so they paid you partly in coin and partly in salt because they used it to preserve beets and other
That's right.
things.
Right.
And so it was a salary. You get your salt. You know, the people used to say, back to the old salt mine. That's what
That's right.
old people would say.
Exactly. Yeah.
Ooh, I love
You know,
beets.
Lee, we spoke with, you remember we spoke with Andre, and he was talking about how you preserve the meat by
Right.
putting it in the ground
Yep.
with pine leaves. Have you spoken to Andre since his
Yeah.
back was out? And
Well, his back is still jacked up, but they just got some electric back a few days ago, and he said it was pretty devastating all around him, and but otherwise he didn't. His property did well. We have someone on the phone. Who do we have?
Spy boy.
Oh my goodness, Spy Boy, you okay?
I'm doing all
I
right.
guess not.
is your brain acting a little slow? That was a slow reaction. Are you okay?
All right. Had to move the phone off the speaker.
Oh yeah. What did you suffer any damage down there in New Orleans
No.
from Harvey?
It's New Orleans.
No.
It ain't New Orleans.
I know I'm making fun of it.
No, New Orleans.
Oh, it's not New Orleans.
Well, it depends
No.
on it depends on where you're from.
Oh,
What do you call it, Spy Boy?
I think New Orleans.
New Orleans?
He's not from there then.
Where you from?
From New Orleans.
See,
Shit.
you were born and raised in New Orleans.
Mostly. I spent a little time on
New
the West
Orleans.
Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, you have to remember too, he's a Republican.
Oh, that's what's wrong with him.
he's
He'd
a,
do
are
everything
you a
backwards.
Republican?
I don't know. I think Spy Boy is
I
a.
was registered independent.
Yeah, but that don't mean nothing. People do that.
That's just so he don't get his ass whipped when he's around
Yeah,
Democrats.
that's right. Come on, Spy Boy. You done advocated every Republican talking point, every Republican position since I've known you.
That's right.
You got
I
an
don't know
orange
you.
nose, probably. You got an orange nose, I'm sure.
Yeah, y'all be nice to my friend.
Yeah, why are y'all picking on him?
He's okay. He's a little wacky.
He
but-
says New Orleans.
Well, that's the way
Carol.
he's supposed to say it.
I ain't thinking about Spy Boy. I've insulted him since I met him.
That's true.
I ain't nobody pulling up, pumping no brakes.
Spy Boy, what he been up to, man?
Not much. I've been suffering.
You been suffering?
Yeah, remember he's sick.
Yeah, I know. How's your health? Are you getting better?
No.
No. I'm sorry, man.
Nah, I will have some empathy on that level.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to see you like that, Spy Boy.
You're not the only one.
Are you working?
No, I haven't worked in a while.
Okay. How's your health care coverage? You straight on that?
Yeah, I get treatment. Basically, it's a prescription just to counteract the effects of Parkinson's.
Okay.
There's no cure.
Yeah, one of my clients was just diagnosed with that.
Well, I'm sorry
Is he
to
diagnosed?
hear that, Spy Boy. You're a good human being, and you've. I think we met you. When did we meet you? Around 2008 or 9?
Something like that.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah, back in the U.S. Talk Network days. And Spy Boy has always called in and brought his magic to the
Courageous.
show.
Courageously called in.
Yeah, we used to beat him up pretty bad. But, he was coming with that right-wing nutball whack job stuff, and it was a softball for us to slap him around. But I'm really sorry to hear that you're dealing with Parkinson's. That's a serious ailment, and we're going to keep you in our prayers, man, because you say there's no cure, but I'm not one of those that believe that things can't be fixed, and I will give hope until the bitter end, and maybe there's a cure out there that we don't know about yet. So hang in there, be tough, man. Keep smiling.
Anyway, Spy Boy, you can come up here to Chicago with me, and we can have some real liberal fun.
I can't imagine you two in the same room having a civil conversation. Well, no, I think it would be civil. I think it would be.
It'd be civil.
Yeah.
I couldn't go with the bovine that the apple comes with.
You see that slow curveball hit you right in the knee.
Well,
Yeah, you
asked
you're
for
right.
it.
It was slow.
That was a slow curveball to the knee. Bam. So what do you think? What do you think of our president, Spy Boy?
I think he's doing an excellent job.
Well, you better hope he don't take your insurance from you.
Well,
God.
what has he done that's excellent in your mind?
He's repealed the Obama legacy, the regulations.
He's done what?
He's repealed the regulations.
What regulations?
What regulations?
EPA. He allowed
The Environmental Protection Agency. So he fucked our environment, so that's good.
How would you assume that he messed it up?
Well, he's allowing them to dump coal ash into the drinking water. Come on.
Lord, I can't do that.
And he's allowed this pipeline to go through the United States of America. And it's not a matter of if, but when it's going to spring a leak and cause earth contamination, potentially river and lake contamination. How is
And
that?
not one
how is that
taxpayer
good?
in the United States will benefit from that oil. That oil goes from Canada straight to Houston, then to China.
So
The Dakota Pipeline, we will not benefit one iota from that oil.
only the oil companies will benefit from that.
Yeah.
So how is that a good thing?
It puts the energy on the market. Cheap energy.
Yeah, he's like a Mooney. He's been so brainwashed, it's no bringing him back.
But don't you see the negative impact that has? And look at the Indians up there that we have painted into a corner in terms of where they can live, and they're losing more and more of their land. And then, more importantly, the pollution is going to corrupt whatever is left for them to live on. How is that a good thing? Don't you think that's kind of un-American?
That's very American.
I'm sorry?
That happened.
It's going to
that
happen.
happens.
It's going to happen. Pipe leaks
Yeah.
all the time. The pipes that we currently have, prior to this, have sprung leaks and caused contamination. Ships spring leaks. They run into shit, and the oil leaks out all over the oceans and the bays and what have you. It's going to happen. When
We
you
need energy. We need energy,
we do.
and that's
We have enough energy that hits the Earth in 1 hour that can power the whole Earth for an entire year. But we can't. We can't. They won't let us harvest it because they can't put a patent or they can't sell us solar energy. And then even more so than solar is geothermal energy. Everybody, if you've got a quarter acre of land, you have access to that.
Oh,
Why
good.
can't
I
they,
have 2.5 acres.
Why can't they develop solar energy?
Why what?
We can, but they hold us back because of Exxon and the other big oil. They don't. I mean, Tesla's got a car you can plug in. It'll go 220 miles per full charge. It's the equivalent of 8 cents per gallon gasoline, but they're holding back. They're restricting the progress. To govern something is to prevent it from moving, but it's at such a pace. You control the pace at which it can move. That's all a government does.
That's inaccurate.
What's inaccurate
Are
about
you?
that?
What?
It's inaccurate.
That's not inaccurate. That's a
dirtiest
fact.
Cars on the market. The dirtiest cars on the market are electric cars.
Oh, you're Lee. He's
okay.
obviously a drunkard.
Well, now wait a minute, Spy Boy, explain.
Dirtiest cars on the market are electric. You are smoking super crack, that Mexican super crack,
No,
obviously.
but wait a minute, Spy Boy, come on, tell us how you figure that. What's your
Where does
facts
the
on that?
electricity come from? The electricity has to be generated.
Yeah, but it's not burning any fossil fuel. It's not putting any pollution back into the air. It's running off batteries that are charged when you plug it in.
And where does the energy come from?
Well, it depends on.
Well, it could come from a hydro dam. It could come from a nuclear power plant. It could come from solar energy.
It
Wind
could come
turbine.
a combination
Yeah.
of all of that, because people who have.
We're powerless over where our energy comes from right now.
But people do have solar panels on their homes, and all the energy that they
Absolutely.
don't use, they sell it back to the power company. So some of that electricity is coming from solar and windmills and turbines and so on and so on.
I've never seen a hydroelectric dam dump oil into our drinking water.
You guys are in denial.
No, we're not.
Oh, he's an idiot. I'll holler at y'all, man.
No, Spy Boy.
Spy Boy, have a great one.
You can't
Get some Listerine to get that Trump cum out your mouth, and I'll holler at y'all.
You just can't. You can't drop bombs like that. You can't make assertions like that with no facts behind that. Spy Boy, come on. Where did you get that information from?
Well, look at the manufacturer of the electric car and the battery pack that goes into it.
Yes.
That's poison. It's dirtier than fossil fuel-driven cars.
But it's not. And I'm sure there's some negative outcome from all the batteries. I have a hybrid car, and in the trunk of the car, there's, I don't know how many batteries are back there. I've never opened the damn thing up. But they're batteries. And in 5 years or 6 years or whatever, those batteries are going to have to be replaced. But every gasoline and diesel fuel car, truck, whatever, motorcycle, boat has batteries. So this is not a new issue. Your cell phone that you're probably calling in on has batteries. Those have to be disposed of some kind of way. My question is, whatever toxins and pollution that it adds back into the environment, is it more or less than what comes from burning fossil fuel of all types, whether it's coal or otherwise, gas or oil?
It's less.
What's less? The fossil fuel?
Gasoline, yes.
And what facts do you have to prove that?
Well, you can look at it this way. What comes out of the tailpipe of the car is cleaner than went in.
But what comes out is damaging to your health.
No, it's not.
In probably ways that we don't even understand or know of. Well, I'll put it to you this way.
It's well understood.
Spy Boy, if you put your car in your garage, pull the door down, and make it so that most of, if not all of the outcome of that tailpipe, it will eventually kill you if you sit in that car or in that garage, correct?
Correct.
So that means it's toxic. So whether you're sitting in your garage or driving down the highway, it's putting out toxic fumes. Enough of that, millions and millions of cars that are out there driving every day, is adding to the environment in a negative way because of the toxic outcome of that tailpipe, right? So what is it? Just magically evaporate and has no impact? Zero?
No, it gets absorbed into trees and plants, which use carbon dioxide as fuel.
Well, that is true. However, if you're in a place like Arizona where they will even pay you not to grow grass and bushes and shit like that, where is that being absorbed? And even the cactus out there is beginning to be extinct. And the Amazon is being destroyed by people cutting down the trees and what have you. So even in areas like that, it's less and less greenery to absorb the negative stuff, the toxins, the carbon monoxide that you just mentioned, into those trees. This earth was made to balance itself over time. I'm not sure that it understood that we, smart-ass humans, would come up with stuff that would destroy everything, and including ourselves. We don't know what the impact is from the stuff that we eat and breathe and drink. Maybe the horrible, horrific disease that you're suffering from, Parkinson's, it is directly or indirectly from some of the stuff that you've been eating or breathing in some way. Maybe some of the clothing that we're wearing is made from chemicals that's not good for us. Sometimes what we don't know has more impact on our lives than what we know. Would you agree with that?
I wouldn't agree with that.
I don't think I've ever been able to get this guy to agree with anything that we've ever brought up. So that's, I guess,
because you come up with some fanciful stuff. We know this is a fact. The electric cars lost the battle to common mode of transportation for automobiles over 100 years ago. And so now we're coming back and we're taking another try at it, and it's still failing. You have tax breaks for the rich. buy these electric cars. So you get poor people who are subsidizing these electric cars, and it's not doing society any good.
What, Spy Boy, can you get a little closer to your microphone? Are you on the speakerphone by chance?
No.
Okay.
Let me see. This helps.
Yeah, because it's kind of muting. Some of your words are a little chopped off.
Yes, the electric cars
Uh-huh.
are being subsidized by taxpayers.
Okay.
There are people who can't afford to buy electric cars.
Okay.
And so
And people
what
can't
you
afford
have is
cars.
people who can't afford them are getting tax breaks off of the backs of the poor.
So, what's your point? If that is in fact the truth, so the Tesla and other electric car manufacturers are getting a tax break. Is that what you're saying for manufacturing these cars?
The people who buy these cars
Okay,
are getting tax breaks from the poor.
they're getting tax
Yeah,
breaks from the government. Okay,
right? From the poor, people who pay taxes.
okay. But those people that can afford a $60,000 or $70,000 or $80,000 car, they're in most cases paying some level of taxes as well. Some of them might be smart enough to take the advantage of some of the write-offs, like a Donald Trump and others, and that's fine. I'm not complaining about that because I've taken advantage of some tax breaks as well. I earned the money. I invested in certain things that afforded me the opportunity to write off some stuff, but I remember one year in particular, I paid $485,000 to the federal government because of the amount of money that I made that year, or previous year, and I wasn't happy about it. But there were no other tax breaks, according to my accountant, that I could take the advantage of to minimize that what was owed. So I wrote the damn check reluctantly, but I did, and that was just the federal. There was also state taxes involved.
That's beside the point.
Well, I'm just saying.
You should not be subsidizing rich people with poor people's money.
Well, I don't disagree with you on that. I think that anybody that makes a significant amount of money should pay whatever taxes that are owed. If there are tax advantages for them in any way, if it's legal, then they should take the advantage of that. I don't have a problem with that. However, for technological advancement, I'm not opposed to that either. If electric cars are more efficient, putting less pollutants into the environment, then I think that's okay. Now, whether or not, as a owner of that car, should I get a tax break for doing so? Maybe that's a good idea to spearhead or to encourage people to buy these cars to put less pollutants in the air. And I'll be honest with you. If I bought a car back in October of last year, it's a Chevy Malibu Hybrid 2016. If there was an electric car that would give me 400 miles or more on a charge, I probably would have bought an electric car. But there is no such animal at this point in time. 230, 240, 250 was about the top end. And I can go through that in a day. And I'd be damned if I'm going to be out on the highway and can't find a charging station.
Plugged in.
Exactly. And I'm not going to carry a 4 million mile extension cord in the truck to plug up from home. It ain't going to happen. So at this point in time, the electric car was not an option for me for the purpose that I wanted to use this car for, which was for rideshare driving, Uber and Lyft. If it was getting 400 or more, I would have considered it. So I ended up buying a car that I can get 700 miles to or more on a hybrid that burns fossil fuel and batteries. And I don't have to plug it in. Because as I'm driving, it's recharging the batteries.
So we're spending a lot of public money trying to push this agenda forward.
Mm-hmm.
It's a failing agenda.
Where is it failing? See that, and I've heard that statement from other people, but I've not had an argument that makes sense in terms of how it's failing. How is solar panels and turbine and windmills failing?
Because it costs more than fossil fuel. It costs more than coal.
At this point, maybe. But those prices are coming down.
Where?
All over. I've been watching it very, very carefully because if I were to buy another house, it would definitely be an energy-efficient house inside and out. So I've been looking at the cost of solar panels and or windmills, and the pricing over the years have come way down, 50% less than what it was 10, 15 years ago.
And why does the government have anything to do with any of that
well,
stuff?
Then California,
put it on the market.
Because it's in the best interest of you as an individual to have these advancements in our lives.
Not as a taxpayer.
What is the difference when General Motors goes into a city and want to open up a new plant, and they get tax breaks for doing such? What's wrong with that? Or is there a problem with that in your mind?
I don't have a problem with that.
So what's the difference?
Because that's private money being invested.
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
They're getting tax breaks. They may be getting a pass for 10 years or 15 years or 20 years where they pay very little or no taxes at all. So at the people
who work at the plant pay taxes.
Of course they do.
And so that's where they get the money from.
So again, off the backs of the poor people or the middle class.
No. Some of the poor people get jobs.
Or, like I said, and then they become middle class. If they're making $70,000, $80,000, $90,000, $100,000 a day working in the car manufacturing plants, they've advanced their lives, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it's the same thing. The same thing with the Tesla and the Ford and the Chevy and all of the other electric car manufacturers. What's the difference?
The difference is that money comes from people, and they get nothing back in return.
Well, they're getting jobs. There are people who are getting jobs, whether they're making electric cars or fossil fuel burning cars.
People are buying fossil fuel cars that are not subsidized.
Well, in the state of California, when the hybrid cars first came out, Carol, do you remember exactly the benefits? And because I know they were allowing them to go into the express lanes, and they didn't have to pay, right?
I'm the wrong person to ask.
Okay.
I don't pay attention to all
here
that.
in California.
I know with solar paneling, if you put it on your roof, a lot of them, they were doing it for free for a minute. To do that, because thought Josefa would have did it.
They're still doing it for free.
How come you guys don't do it?
Well, I don't know. I have no idea.
She really should. It would save on your bills.
I think she said she looked into it and there was a technical reason why it wouldn't work or something. I don't know. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. It is a lot less expensive today to put solar panels on your house, even to the point of free. There are companies that will come in and install it on your house for free. And how they're able to do that, from what I understand, is the benefits, like selling the power back to the grid. These companies are sharing that revenue with you. In other words, they I don't know what percentage. Maybe they take 80%. Who cares? But if you're going to put that on my house and I don't have an electric bill after that, it doesn't cost me to install it. That's a good damn deal. What's wrong with that deal?
The sun goes down.
Yes. But
the sun goes down.
Yeah,
it's not generating anything.
No, but it stores that energy into batteries in your home.
Nonsense long enough.
that you
Spy
continue.
Boy, you have absolutely no clue. when you save from the solar panels, it put it into the battery. So when it's no sun,
battery?
You still have power.
Wait, what battery?
The batteries that are in your home.
Oh God!
The energy is.
Our home doesn't have batteries.
That's
you
part
are
of the install.
Ignorant.
Spy Boy, that's a part of the install of the solar panels on your home. The energy has to be stored as well. So it doesn't stop working when the sun goes down. And if by chance, here's the thing, if by chance you use up all of the stored energy in your batteries that came from the sun, it then switches over to the regular power grid. So you use energy from the local power company. So you're never going to be without. So they've got all of that figured out. But when you generate enough energy and you don't use it all, you can sell it back to the power company and earn income from that.
Now look in the mirror, Lee.
You know what? You know why?
In the face.
You know why oil has been so successful over electricity?
No. Why? Go ahead.
You get more out of a barrel of oil than a barrel of oil.
Of course, because there's many. Right. There are many products that come from a barrel of oil. Right.
Right. And society has benefited greatly from the use of from the drilling of oil.
So, are you of the mindset that nothing should ever change? You don't believe in things getting better?
I don't believe in spending public money to do these things. Let private industry invest.
Okay, fine. I would bet you that the majority of these type of technological advances is coming from private money. It may be coming from the stock market. It's coming from a variety of places. But I don't think that 100% of these new technologies is coming from tax dollars. It's just an incentive. It's probably a small portion of what it takes to make these new technological advances. But maybe just enough to make it work.
That's not true.
Listen.
There's money is being wasted. Taxpayer dollars is being wasted.
So, okay. So what do you think about these rich companies, very successful companies, and I could name a bunch of them, keeping their money offshore, not having to pay taxes on monies that they earn? Is that cool with you?
I don't know if it's cool or not, but I would say reduce the tax burden on them.
Okay.
Make it attractive for them to bring the money back into the country.
Okay, so
and the last time we did that, they stole it away off seas.
Whose money is it? Whose money is it?
It's their money. It's no question about that. But
and if they owe taxes on it, they should pay it.
If they generated money in the United States of America, they should pay taxes on it just like you do, like Alfo does, like I do. Well, Carol, I don't know if Carol's, but like Carol should be doing it, but I'm messing with her. Like Carol does and everybody else. They should not be exempt from paying taxes on monies earned in the United States of America. And even if they make some in foreign countries, if they're based here, then that money is income to the company, right? So they need to pay some taxes on that too, damn it. If I make some money outside of the United States and put it into a bank here in the United States, I'm going to have to pay taxes on it, right? Okay, so why not? Why shouldn't it?
Well, Spy Boy, it's been really great talking to you. I got to go. Nothing's changed.
We all have to
go.
go. It's time to go. But Spy Boy, good to hear from you. I'm glad that you're still kicking, and I hope you get better. And I'll continue to pray for you, brother, regardless of the fact that we disagree on everything. But I love you.
Well, that's all right.
I love you, brother. You
I
take care.
appreciate you guys too.
Do you still have
Thank
you still have my my cell number?
I don't know if I have that number.
Okay.
Lee.
Are you still on Facebook?
Yes.
All right. I'll inbox you my number because I'd like to talk to you offline.
All right.
All right. God bless you. Take care, Alpha, Apollo, Carol. Thank all of you for coming in and being a part of the show today. Without you, it's just me, and people wouldn't like that so much. And we'll be back tomorrow, 10 a.m., right here on The Power of Voices, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, et cetera, to do it again. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.